remember when rock was down. Me and Bucky had so much fun. And in stones.
Terrible way to die.
It is.
The burning definitely didn't kill Smith.
Obviously it contributed. The shock to the central nervous system would have been quite enough in most people to have brought about death.
But not in Smith's case.
I'm afraid not. There were considerable deposits of carbonaceous matter in the air passages. He was clearly breathing for some time after the commencement of the fire.
6th degree burns.
On his legs, which were trapped below the knees. There was a certain amount of scorching of the torso, and his right arm was badly burned.
Well, agreed that he was alive, breathing. What makes you say he was conscious?
The bruising and burning of his hands. It appears that when the fire started, he tried to beat out the flames with his hands. His right palm had severe signs of lacerations where he must have hit it upon some metal object in the cab. I'm afraid there's no question but that he was conscious for a minute or two.
Now, cause of death, not asphyxiation.
A contributing factor. The skull was fractured quite severely along the right side of the cranium, near the front, just about here. He must have been thrown slightly to one side, and he may have struck his head on the steering wheel or even on the gear lever, which was quite high. Whatever it was enough to fracture the skull and to produce extensive brain damage. That, in my opinion, was the main cause of death.
But it didn't bring about loss of consciousness for at least a couple of minutes.
No.
Had Malcolm, the driver, made any effort, in your opinion, to save his friend after the accident?
I couldn't possibly answer that, John, not even off the record.
Not from the burns on his hands and arms, eh?
No.
I know Joe Malcolm slightly. He seems to me to be a very good man. He denies he made any effort at all to enter the cab of the lorry after the accident when his friend was in there burning to death. Now, that just isn't like the man. If he persists in his denial, it'll go badly for him in court, particularly if it appears that Smith was alive and conscious. Now, I want to make up my own mind whether Malcolm is a liar or a coward. I don't think he's a coward.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's this?
Oh, it's the Malcolm case. We're prosecuting for dangerous driving. He would like to go through it with you just to keep you up to date.
Do you know Malcolm at all?
Slightly. He's a local boy. Everyone knows him a bit.
Have you heard anything about his wife and Keith Smith?
Who have you been talking to? Anne Malcolm and Keith Smith were engaged to be married before she met Joe. That is all.
And Keith and Malcolm remain friends?
Yes.
Malcolm took Keith's girlfriend away from him, married her, and yet they still remain friends.
Is that so odd?
Well, it's not so usual, is it? You'd expect there to be some friction between them.
Ah, that's it. It's incredible to me they both weren't killed.
Indeed it is. Boy. I've been hearing a certain amount of talk about Malcolm's wife and young Keith.
He's a good man, this Joe Malcolm.
It seems to hold more substance than most of the gossip we hear on these parts.
It's still gossip, Mr. Duthie.
Where's the problem?
In the first place, how did Smith come to fracture his skull?
Bashed his head against the steering wheel.
The whole steering column's designed to collapse on impact, and it hadn't.
Oh? And?
Well, it would have done if something had hit it with the kind of force necessary to smash Smith's skull as badly as this. There's another point. If Smith hit his head in the accident, how come he didn't lose consciousness immediately? The rupture to the carotid artery was described by Gilmore as massive. No one who sustained that kind of injury could have remained conscious.
What are you getting at?
I'm suggesting that he didn't receive the fatal blow in the accident at all.
Indeed.
Having crashed the lorry and trapped Smith in the cab, I think it possible that Malcolm hit Smith over the head with something and killed him.
I don't believe it for a moment.
But there's a motive. I mean, it's fairly generally accepted in the town that Smith and Anne Malcolm were lovers before she met Malcolm.
Smith and Anne Malcolm were engaged before she met Joe.
Apparently, they took up with each other again afterwards.
Gossip.
She used to see a lot of Smith when her husband was on his trips to the
You'd
continent.
have to prove it. I mean, if Malcolm came home and found them in bed together, I could believe he'd maybe lose his temper and kill Smith in a blind rage there and then, but nothing so uncertain as this.
I'll tell you something else. Malcolm had no right giving Smith a lift at all that night. Smith was in Glasgow. Malcolm had to go a long way off his road to pick him up.
They were friends. I'd make a detour to give a friend of mine a lift.
Late at night in a monstrous great trailer creeping on the streets of Glasgow? I don't believe it.
That is the kind of man Joe Malcolm is.
That may be, but suppose he found out that his wife had started having an affair
Mr.
again.
Duthie, I intend to go ahead in an indictment of causing death by dangerous driving.
Even if I can prove you wrong?
I'd need very convincing evidence.
What would convince you?
Something a little less circumstantial than your theories.
What he hit him with?
You'll not find anything there, you know.
Where's the jack handle? You need a great long handle to jack one of these up. It's not there.
Stored underneath the cab here.
You find me that jack handle.
And did you find any other reason for the crash? The body of a dead animal, for instance?
I did not.
And there was no other vehicle anywhere which might have caused Malcolm to have braked so sharply?
No, none at all.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Apart from the length of the skid marks, did you find any other indications of the possible speed that Malcolm was travelling at the time of the crash?
I did not.
At a reasonable speed on that steep road, is it not possible that you might skid if an animal jumped out of the hedgerow and you slammed on your brakes?
Oh, it's possible, yes, but the skid marks would be shorter.
How much shorter would the skid marks have been if the lorry had been travelling at, say, 30 miles per hour?
They'd be about 30 feet shorter.
Would it have made any difference to the length of the skid marks if the lorry had been heavily laden or completely empty?
Well, an empty lorry wouldn't skid as far as a laden one.
Did you examine Malcolm's load?
Yes, I did. It was fully laden.
Did you examine the nature of the load?
No, it was a sealed container.
But you assume that the goods inside it were light?
Yes, I did. Malcolm usually transported light goods, pressed plastics and the like from the factory.
But he was on his way back from Denmark. Sergeant, would you like to lead a few items from this list, please? Defence production number 3, my lord.
Thank you. 2.5 tons butter, 3 tons bacon, 2 tons
Thank you,
cured...
Sergeant. Now, if that is a true statement of what was in that lorry, Sergeant, isn't it possible that the length of the skid marks might have been caused not by excessive speed, but that the lorry was heavier than you originally calculated?
I suppose that might be possible, yes.
Whatever the speed of the lorry, I submit that you will have no difficulty in accepting that Smith was killed in the accident and that the lorry was driven by the panel. The essential point for your decision on the evidence is whether the lorry was driven dangerously by Malcolm, no matter what its speed.
Well, how things are?
Mr. Duffy! Over here, sir.
The indictment in this case avers that the panel caused the death of Keith Smith by driving recklessly, at a speed and in a manner which was dangerous, having regard to the amount of traffic which actually was or could reasonably have been supposed to be going to be there, as a result of which the lorry, driven by the panel, collided with the parapet of the bridge. Now, there is here no question of mens rea, that is, evil intent. The Crown is not required to show or even suggest that the panel set out to cause the death of Keith Smith. Mr. Fiscal, is there something...
Well, I'd a new significant piece of material. Is that all right with you?
Thank you. Court will adjourn for 1 hour.
Court.
Let's see the damn thing.
No doubt at all, sir. Bloodstains on the end, some hairs, too.
What are you going to do about the trial?
We can't bring a verdict in, not now. Sergeant, get a full forensic report on this as quickly as you can.
Sir, will you get a warrant to disinter Smith's body, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Fiscal.
My lord, I am abandoning the indictment against the panel.
Oh. The effect of what the Procurator Fiscal has just said is that this case will proceed no further, and the panel is free to go.
Court.
Joseph Malcolm, I must ask you to accompany me to the station.
Why can't you leave him alone?
It's all right, Anne. I was expecting it.
Anne Malcolm is an old friend of mine. I used to visit her every couple of days.
Even when Joe wasn't at home?
Most of all then. Well, that's when she needed the company, isn't it?
She was lonely.
She used to be.
Did you ever see Smith at her house when you visited it?
When Joe went away, Keith Smith was there.
All the time?
Well, in the evenings and that.
But more so than when Joe was at home?
Oh, well, Joe and Keith used to go out drinking together. And fishing when Joe had a couple of days off. Keith used to take him fishing. And then when Joe went away, Keith moved into his house. I went there one day, quite early in the morning it was. I wanted a couple of eggs for my husband's breakfast. She stood in the doorway so I wouldn't see in. But then when she went away to get the eggs, I got a good look. Keith was sitting there. 8 o'clock in the morning it was, wearing Joe's dressing gown.
Can you remember the date?
Last May, I would say. But that wasn't the only time. My James was going past on his bicycle one night and they had the curtains open and he saw Keith...
At the moment, I don't want to know what your husband saw or heard, thank you.
I saw them too. They thought there was nobody watching but Keith had his hand.
Mrs. Keenan, this is a very serious matter. Joe may possibly be tried for murder.
It's a terrible thing, but I knew he would do it. I told James if that poor man ever finds out, I wouldn't like to be in Keith Smith's shoes. Not for all the tea in China.
I'd say he must have struck or been struck on the head at least 3 times fairly hard.
Is there any indication when these blows were struck?
If they were blows. There was some burnt matter embedded in the wound, and that suggests that it must have been received after the fire had started. But all this was contained, at least implicitly, in my first report. I admit that I was working on the assumption that the wounds, logically enough, must have been caused when the lorry crashed.
Until we found the jack handle.
Quite so. I have here the forensic report. Smith's blood group is B rhesus negative, one of the rarer groups, though by no means extraordinary. There was blood of that group on the jack handle. Now, Malcolm's blood group is O positive. There were also some hairs adhering to the jack handle comparable with Smith's, along with the bloodstains. They are almost certainly Smith's. The medical facts are consistent with Smith's having been beaten with the jack handle.
Malcolm crashed the lorry. But when that failed to kill the man, he clambered back in the cab and battered him to death with an iron bar. Now, what is the matter with you? 2 months ago, you risked both our lives on a mountain to prove that a man had murdered his brother. Now you use the most foolish arguments to prove another man has not murdered his friend.
Are you blind? Are you blind as well as deaf? Can you not see why?
No! Smith was with Malcolm's wife every time he went on a trip to the continent.
Oh, God forgive me. You've learned nothing. Nothing. You come to this town with your textbook ways, your head stuffed with knowledge but empty of wisdom, and you've learned nothing at all. You listen to fishwives of their gossip and lean up against the bar in the pub and believe what people tell you.
At least I recognize the fracture to Smith's skull was not caused by a steering wheel.
You don't know what you're doing. I fear you'll regret what you've started now.
Regret it? The man killed his friend. He murdered him.
He may have killed him. He did not murder him.
Bloody semantics, that's all I ever hear. Are you going to draft that petition, or am I?
You draft it, Mr. Duthie. Get your indictment, and may God have mercy on you for it.
And we have heard that the fingerprints on the jack handle are those of the accused, but I put it to you, Professor. The jack handle is from the accused's lorry. It is there to be used by the accused. Might it therefore not be reasonably expected to bear the fingerprints of the accused?
Of course.
Thank you.
No further questions. Call Henry James Keenan.
Calling number 11, Henry James Keenan.
Will you take the oath?
Yes, my lord.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God.
I swear by Almighty God.
And as I shall answer to God at the great day of judgment.
And I shall answer to God at the great day of judgment.
That I shall tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
That I shall tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Mr. McNabb.
Thank you, my lord. You are Henry James Keenan, aged 56, living at Hawthorne Cottage, Glendoran.
Yes, sir.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a roadman.
And on the night of Wednesday, the 3rd of May, 1973, were you riding your bicycle towards your home?
Yes.
And did your route take you past the cottage occupied by Mr. and Mrs. Malcolm?
It did.
Do you see Mr. Malcolm here today?
Yes.
Thank you. And at what time did you pass the cottage?
About 7:45.
And did you see anything unusual there on that occasion?
Yes, I did. Joe was away and...
Mr. Malcolm was away. Do you know that?
Well, I saw him drive off in his lorry 2 days before. He said he was going up to Denmark. Since the common market, he goes up to Denmark about twice a month.
So you had good reason to believe that he was away?
I thought I'd drop in and see Iain. She gets lonely when Joe goes away, and we like to drop in and see how she is, see if she wants anything. So I got off my bicycle and pushed it up towards the front door, meaning to lean it against the side of the house. But I saw some lights on inside, and I looked in through the window.
Not intending to spy on Mrs. Malcolm, but simply because you were placing your bicycle against the wall.
That's right. And Anne and Keith were in the kitchen.
And what were they doing?
Anne was sitting on Keith's knee, and they were kissing and cuddling, and he had his hand underneath her skirt. I got a great shock, naturally. I backed away quietly from the window and pushed off home as quickly as I could. They must have heard me because the curtains were
Thank you, Mr. Keenan. That, I'm afraid, is supposition. Now, apart from that one occasion, did you ever see Smith and Mrs. Malcolm in a situation of physical intimacy again?
Not in that way, no. You wouldn't expect them to behave like that in public. But I've seen them together often enough.
Thank you, Mr. Keenan.
Mr. Keenan. On the evening of the accident, did Joe Malcolm call round to you at your house?
Yes, he came to us straight from the crash. It's only half a mile if you cut across the hill.
So in a time of trouble, he singled you out to help him?
Yes.
Now, when you first discovered that Anne Malcolm was going out with Keith Smith, when Mr. Malcolm was away, what did you do?
Do?
Did you warn him to stay away from your friend's wife?
Oh, it was none of my business.
Or did you speak to Malcolm then?
I didn't tell him, no.
He was a close friend of yours and you saw no reason to tell him?
Well, I might have been wrong. Keith and he were great friends. You don't want to make trouble between mates, do you?
After the incident, when you spied on the couple through the window of their, or rather of Malcolm's cottage, did you not think to tell Malcolm then?
I said I didn't want to make trouble.
Yes, that was when you only had suspicions, but on that occasion you had much more than suspicions, did you not?
Well, they might have been having a game.
A very intimate game?
Well, it was none of my business.
I perfectly agree with you on that, Mr. Keenan. But you had seen...
I wasn't spying.
Oh, you had accidentally seen your friend's wife in a situation of serious, physical, intimate contact with your friend's friend. Now, did you not then think that it was your business and that you should say something to someone?
I didn't like to interfere.
Or was it perhaps that you were not quite sure of your facts, that you failed in your duty to your friend?
I saw them all right.
But they might have been having a game.
Well, I don't know. It might have been quite innocent, having a laugh.
Thank you, Mr. Keenan.
Did you see Keith Smith with Anne Malcolm sitting on his knee?
Yes.
Did you see his hand underneath her skirt?
Yes, I did.
Were they or were they not kissing and cuddling?
Yes, they were.
Thank you, Mr. Keenan, very much indeed. No further questions. Now, Mr. Innes, on how many occasions did they visit your public house?
Oh, I didn't count, but they used to come in every time Joe went away. Then people started to talk a bit, then they stopped away.
And how did they behave together?
Well, they sat in the corner of the pub, drinking and giggling. He used to hold their hand underneath the table. I mean, you can see underneath all our tables, that's to stop the carrying on when the kids come in.
You could see Smith holding Mrs. Malcolm's hand under the table?
Yes.
And on how many occasions did you observe this?
Oh, about 20 or 30 times. I mean, every time Joe went away.
Thank you.
Mr. Innes, did you ever see Mrs. Malcolm with any other men?
Oh, no, nobody except her husband, sir.
And did you ever see Mr. Smith with any other women?
Ah, yes. He used to bring all his birds... Sorry, my lord. He used to bring all his girlfriends into the pub. That wasn't until he took up with Anne.
And did he ever hold any of their hands under the table?
Ah, yes. He was that kind of a man.
He was indeed.
No further questions. Call Alexander Joseph Lane. Mr. Lane, you work for the same firm as Mr. Malcolm?
I do.
And how long have you worked for them?
About 3.5 years.
And how well do you know the panel?
Oh, fairly well, but just as mates, like, not as friends.
On the 18th of June, did you have a conversation with Malcolm?
Yes, I did.
Now, was there any reason for you to seek him out and engage him in conversation?
Well, a mate of mine told me that he saw Joe's wife go out with Keith Smith. Well, I thought that Joe ought to know.
And how did he take it?
Well, he just listened and he said, thanks very much for telling me, but there's nothing in it. It's just gossip.
Did you observe his demeanour after that?
Well, he seemed pretty moody.
Moody? But was he a cheerful kind of man in general, or was he always moody?
No, he was cheerful most of the time.
But after you had told him what you heard, he was moody.
Well, wouldn't you be if you found out your wife was cheating on you?
Thank you, Mr. Lane.
Gossip. That's what Malcolm said, isn't it?
Yes.
And that, in fact, is what it was. Unsubstantiated, irresponsible gossip.
Oh, no, a mate of mine told me that he saw them.
I don't want to know what a mate of yours told you that he saw. You didn't see. You simply repeated gossip to Malcolm.
Yeah, kind of.
It was gossip.
Yes.
And Malcolm listened to it. Did he turn red?
No.
Did he turn pale and gasp in astonishment?
No.
Or did he become inflamed with anger and shout?
No, he just listened and he said
it was gossip.
Yeah.
As it was.
After your conversation, did Malcolm go off seeming to you rather moody?
Yes.
Where did he go?
Copenhagen. He had to take a load up to Copenhagen.
Yes, Mr. Roberts. Mr. McNabb, you are aware, I believe, that you cannot lead fresh evidence in re-examination.
My lord, no further questions. Call number 14, Arthur Gordon Mackay.
Calling number 14, Arthur Gordon Mackay.
I'd be obliged if I could have a word with you in my office.
Certainly, John.
Excuses.
Will you take the oath? Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Black or white, Donald?
Black.
Are you proposing to call Mrs. Malcolm?
No. Well, she's on the defence list, and we've tried to get Malcolm to agree, John, but he's adamant. He says that if she's called, she'll be branded as an immoral woman. They won't have it. I'm not too keen on calling her myself.
Then I hope I can get you to change your mind. Malcolm's a good man. He's been punished badly enough already. If Anne Malcolm doesn't go into that witness box and explain her relationship with Smith, that jury, every member of it, is going to go home tonight wondering if there isn't more to all this than meets the eye.
But you know exactly how much Mrs. Malcolm was involved with Smith.
I have a pretty good idea.
Then you'll understand Malcolm's reluctance.
Well, overrule him. Insist on calling her. She has a perfectly innocent tale.
Innocent?
Yes, innocent. I found nothing in her story to accuse her of when she told it to me. Give her a chance to purge her conscience.
Mrs. Malcolm, how long have you been married to your husband?
8 years.
Do you love him?
I do very much indeed.
How long ago did you meet the deceased, Keith Smith?
We used to go out together from school.
And when did he meet your husband for the first time?
About 8 years ago, I introduced them.
And what was your relationship with Smith at the time he met your husband?
We were very friendly.
Were you engaged to be married?
Yes, a kind of unofficial engagement.
Did you ever sleep with Smith?
Yes.
Once?
Please speak up, Mrs. Malcolm.
More than once.
Twice? 5 times? 10 times?
Yes. Quite a lot.
You were engaged to be married, were you not?
Yes.
And then what happened?
I met Joe.
And how did this affect your relationship with Smith?
I fell in love with Joe.
And did you stop seeing Smith?
I told Keith. At first he wanted to kill Joe. He said he beat him up or something. I got them to meet.
And when they met, what happened?
Keith wanted a fight. Joe talked to him, calmed him down.
Now, did your husband know about your previous intimacy with Smith?
I told him.
And how did he react?
He was a bit jealous at first. Then he said it was none of his business and would I marry him.
And did Smith know your husband knew?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Markham, you said that your husband talked Smith out of fighting when they first met. Now, how did he do that?
He made Keith laugh.
How?
Telling stories. He makes himself out to be a bit of a fool, Joe does. Started telling these stories, and after a bit, Keith laughed. You can't fight Joe. He won't let you.
Quite so. And since you have been married, have you seen much of Smith?
Yes, he and Joe got very friendly. Joe doesn't make friends easy in spite of... Well, he's very shy. But he took to Keith. Every time Joe got back from a job, Keith would turn up. Sometimes he'd be at the house waiting, and off they'd go together. If anything, I used to get a bit jealous of the two of them leaving me behind. Not seriously, though, just kid them.
Now, in the past year or so, did Smith ever try to put his relationship with you back to its former level of physical intimacy?
He always flirted with me.
Did he ever flirt with you in your husband's absence?
Oh, yes, but never seriously. We used to go to the pub together. Keith would hold my hand underneath the table. Michael Innes, the publican, he's a terrible old gossip. He likes to look at the kids when they pet together underneath the table on a Saturday night. Everyone knows that. And sometimes they'll play it just to make Michael's eyes pop out. Anyway, Keith said he held hands with every other girl he ever went drinking with, and wasn't I his best friend's wife and his own wife that was to be, and why should I be any different from any other girl? So we held hands and had a giggle when Michael espied.
Mrs. Malcolm, do you remember an occasion when Mrs. Keenan called at your house to borrow a couple of eggs for her husband's breakfast?
Last May, yes, I remember.
Was your husband away?
No. He'd gone off on a job, and when he got to the docks, they were having a strike. So he phoned the yard, and they said, come home, so he came home.
And so when Mrs. Keenan came to your door, where was your husband?
In the bath.
Was Smith in the house?
He was sitting at the table, having black coffee poured down his throat so he and Joe could go fishing together.
And did your husband know that Smith was in the house?
Of course he did.
And did you try to conceal the fact that Smith was in the house from Mrs. Keenan?
Why should I?
Mrs. Malcolm, on another occasion, when your husband was away, did Smith visit you and kiss you and cuddle you in your own kitchen at night?
Yes.
Would you tell the court about that, please?
Keith came round as usual. He'd had a bit of drink, but he wasn't all that bad. He started flirting with me, and we were laughing together. He made me sit in his lap, and we were having a cuddle. When I looked round and saw James Keenan standing there, his face like a great moon staring in through the window, we closed the curtains.
And?
Keith and I slept together.
You did? You slept together?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know why. We were just playing, and then it got serious.
Were you in love with him?
No. I loved Joe.
So in spite of your love for your husband, you went to bed with Smith?
I didn't love Joe any the less for that. If Joe had been there, it would never have happened. I told him about it.
You told your husband?
When he got back.
What did he do?
He kissed me.
Just that?
Yes.
He wasn't angry?
Yes, a bit. Not with me. He said he wished it hadn't happened, but it had, and there was no good crying over it. Then he went round to see Keith, and they talked.
They talked?
Yes, they talked for 4 hours and a bit, and then Joe came back on his own. And Keith came round the next day, looking a bit ashamed, but they didn't mention it.
Was he marked in any way?
No. He was a bit quiet for a few days after that, but then he relaxed. Oh, he never touched me again, or flirted with me, nor said anything about being jealous. He was very quiet with Joe, and they seemed to be even closer.
Mrs. Malcolm, have you ever been unfaithful to your husband on any other occasion?
Never.
Thank you, Mrs. Malcolm.
I propose to adjourn for lunch now, Mr. McNabb, if you would like to start your cross-examination after lunch.
My lord, I do not believe that I have any questions that I wish to ask this witness.
My lord, in view of the previous witness's evidence, I feel at this stage that I should like to call the accused. I realize this is an unusual course to take, but I feel that I have no alternative.
Very well, we shall start with him in 1 hour.
I'm obliged, my lord. Do you remember one of the other drivers, a young man called Lane, stopping you and speaking to you just before you left?
Aye.
Well, what did he say?
Oh, he spouted a whole lot of gossip about Anne and Keith.
You mean about your wife and the deceased Keith Smith?
Aye.
Well, how did you feel about this?
I was very angry.
With Smith?
With Lane.
Well, what did you do?
Well, I told him it was just a lot of gossip and to put it out of his head.
You weren't angry with Smith?
No, or should I be?
Did you not know that your wife had once made love with Smith in your absence?
Yes.
And did not what Lane told you make you think that that affair has started up again?
No, it wasn't an affair. Anne told me.
But they had once had an affair.
That was before Anne knew me.
So you believe that your wife's love for you was so strong that she would have nothing to do with her previous lover?
Yes.
And yet they did sleep together.
Yes.
Well, did this not cause you to have serious doubts about your wife's love for you?
No. She and Keith had been engaged. It was only natural, me being aware a lot, that something had happened sooner or later. And it was owed to Keith in a way. I took it away from him. Well, he got over that, but he still had to prove...
Had to prove what?
That he wasn't rejected. I mean, it wasn't that she rejected him, it was that she chose me. So when they slept together, that was like proving to him that he hadn't lost her completely. I took it away from him, so he took her back just the once. I can understand that.
That's unusually understanding of you, don't you think?
No, we talked about it.
And you weren't angry at all?
Well, not with Anne. A bit with Keith, so I thought I'd better go and talk it out with him. It's no good keeping anger to yourself. It only poisons things.
Now, were you angry with or jealous of Smith when you gave him a lift in your lorry on the night of the accident?
Not at all.
How did Smith come to be in your lorry that night?
Well, he asked me could I give him a lift back from Glasgow.
Did that involve you in any inconvenience?
No.
A detour, maybe?
Well, he had to make a bit of a detour.
In a large, cumbersome lorry through the streets of Glasgow at the end of a long, tiring journey?
It wasn't that out of the way.
Let us come to the accident itself. Can you tell me how it happened?
I don't know. I've thought about it and thought, but to this day, I don't know.
What happened?
Well, we were driving along. The radio was on and Keith was singing. He did not have much of a voice, but he was practically tone deaf, though he wouldn't admit it. Anyway, we came to the corner by the old bridge.
How fast were we going?
About 40. It's not too fast for the road. Well, maybe, I don't know. One minute we were all right, the next minute the wheel spun out of my hands and we hit the bridge.
And then what happened?
The fire started. I got out all right, but Keith was trapped. Tried to drag him clear.
Were you burnt yourself?
Well, not so you'd feel it, no.
You didn't feel it. Do you not remember being treated by a doctor for burns to your hands and arms?
But it wasn't too bad at the time. It was Keith. He was trapped inside. I did my best, but I couldn't move him.
Was he conscious?
At first.
What did you do then?
I stood and watched. And what else could I do? Keith was dying, and I stood in the road and watched.
You did not try to help him further?
No, I didn't. Not really.
Because you had already tried, and there was nothing more you could do?
I did the best I could.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm.
It was an accident.
Yes.
But Smith did not die instantaneously in the accident.
No.
Did you, later that night, throw a jack handle into the bushes opposite the Keenan's house when you went there to tell them about the accident?
Aye.
Where did you get the jack handle?
From the toolkit of the truck.
And what did you take it from the toolkit for?
Well, I thought I might be able to get Keith free if I smashed the seat.
You wanted to use it as a lever to prise Smith from the burning cab?
Aye. No. No, I killed him with it.
You killed him with the jack handle?
Yes.
Deliberately killed him?
Yes.
How?
I hit him over the head with it.
Did you hit him once or many times?
I hit him until he stopped.
Breathing? Thank you.
Mr. Malcolm, why did you kill him?
Well, because he was in pain and I couldn't stand it.
Could you tell me exactly what you did, please?
I tried to get him out of the cab. He was trapped in the flames and he started to scream. I climbed back in and I got hold of him and pulled, but he only screamed some more. I think the flames were... I had to jump down again. I couldn't stand the heat, and Keith was in it. There wasn't much smoke. It was just the flames. You could see through them. So he seemed to be flickering. He was screaming, screaming. So I couldn't stand it anymore. I got the jack handle and I hit him on the head with it, and he screamed again the first time. And then his eyes looked at me, and I knew it was the right thing to do. His eyes were begging me to finish it. So I hit him again and again, and then he fell forward, and I knew he was unconscious or dead. At least he wasn't in pain.
And what did you do then?
I knelt down on the road and cried my eyes out.
He killed the man.
What else could he do? What would you do if a friend of yours was dying like that?
Well, I should not kill him. That is murder.
What kind of a man are you, Alec Duthie? Murder is a word which describes an action motivated by evil intent. If he'd simply wanted his friend to die, he'd have walked away and left him there burning inch by inch to death.
If you have your way, just how many old men and women, sick and tired of life, are going to be removed, killed off out of so-called mercy to save them further suffering, when they would really be killed to rid the living of their burden?
I do not advocate euthanasia. I only say, in this case, this man was in terrible agony, dying more terribly than any man should have to die, and Malcolm risked his own life and liberty to save him that dreadful pain.
But Smith had a right to his pain. I mean it, John. He was dying. In those last terrible moments, Smith had a right to be conscious, to face his death fully aware of what was happening. Any man has the right to do that, knowing what's coming. What Malcolm did was to smash him to death with a metal bar before his time. All right, maybe only a few seconds before. But in those few seconds, many people, when they see and expect their inevitable deaths, find, even through their pain, a moment of calm and peace. Now, he may not have been a religious man. I don't think I am. But we cannot discount the possibility that he was, and in that case, he may have needed those few seconds for the sake of his immortal soul. Now, Malcolm smashed that final piece because he could not endure the pain. It had nothing to do with Smith. Malcolm was afraid. Malcolm could not endure that man's suffering. Oh, yes, I pity Malcolm for his weakness. But I cannot find it in me to praise him for his courage. He may get off. Your jury that you are so proud of because they acquit a man rather than make him suffer twice for his actions, they have nothing to do with mercy. And very, very little to do with justice. If that is your kind of law, John Sutherland, I want no part of it.
Members of the jury, who speaks for you?
I do.
Have you considered your verdict?
We have.
What is your verdict?
We find the accused guilty as libelled. But we strongly recommend that the greatest possible mercy be shown, as we believe that there was no malice that motivated the panel.
Members of the jury, you may remember that when I told you what constituted the crime of murder, I said that it was not necessary for the Crown to show that the panel bore any malice towards the dead man, and the court cannot show mercy on those grounds. It is enough for the Crown to show that the panel criminally intended to cause the death of Keith Smith. Would you like to retire to reconsider your verdict?
No, Your Lordship. We do not wish to retire again. And in that case, we find the panel not guilty.
Is your verdict unanimous or by majority?
Unanimous.
Members of the jury, does this correctly record your verdict? The jury unanimously find the panel not guilty as libelled.
Yes.
Joseph Malcolm. The jury have, as is their right as citizens, sat in judgment upon you today. They have, as is also their right, found you not guilty of the crime of which you were charged. You are free to go.
No, Mr. Duthie. That's my law. It's God's law and it's man's law. It has nothing to do with vengeance. It's the conscience of man.